again, and welcome to the Young Fathers podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Obi-Wan. Follow us on TikTok if you haven't already, yes. And also as well, like and subscribe on the page as well. We'd love to be able to hear some feedback from everybody as well. I'm here with Jay. Jay, you okay?
Good, mate. Good, very good. How's things?
Good. Apart, we had a lot of feedback from the last episode that we did. When I posted it and on TikTok, I feel like at the moment, depending on which platform people are using, and guys, let us know as well which platforms you guys are using more. Are you guys using TikTok more? Are you using YouTube more, or are you using other places like Twitter as well?
Yeah.
But on TikTok, when we posted that video, I think we're discussing immigration. I think we'll talk about the billionaires and everything else.
Yeah.
And yes, people just start piling in. It's like, okay, yes, of course, what's happening right now when it comes to the UK politics? There's a lot of shaking about right now, which is it's interesting. It's interesting.
There's a lot of motion taking place at the minute, you know.
Yes.
And like a lot of people are scared about a lot of things, and when they see what's going on, you know, so
100%.
yeah.
And let me see if
I'm rightly concerned.
I'm gonna see if I can read one of them as well. And guys, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like the video as well. And let me see if I can read you guys one of the messages that we got on the last video last time, which I thought was quite interesting. So it was this.
For example, like the Reform Party.
So you can have a read.
I think they've got about 5 seats.
Ooh, let's reduce that. Have a bit of a read of that. In fact, the first one was quite interesting.
Yeah, and actually, you know something, and I read quite a few of these actually.
The last one was quite interesting. The person was like, my family are Muslim.
Yeah.
And they feel like they want to vote for, they're not really quite happy with the Labour Party, and they want to vote for the Reform Party just because of how the country is feeling right now. And I feel like that's the thing as well. People feel a certain way. The government could be doing amazingly, but if they don't really project that message across and say, you know what, this is what we're doing, this is what we've changed, this is what we've improved, people don't really feel like that.
And I think sometimes they may say that, but the problem is they may say that, but they don't deliver that. And when they don't deliver that, people say, you said this, I'm voting for what you said, now that I've voted for what you said, that's not what you're delivering. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And I say, if you were saying it, and you were getting us hyped up about it, and we're voting for you, and you're delivering that, then we'd be super hyped.
Of course.
But we're not super hyped because you said you're going to do it, we trusted you, we voted for you, and I think and that's what's happening with a lot with this politics here, politics in the US right now.
And exactly that. And you're right as well.
You know something, but the other bit to that is funny because Trump supporters, what he's going through and what he's doing now, they're happy with that. So they can say,
yes,
I voted for him to do all these crazy things he's doing now. They voted for him to do these crazy things.
True. You demanded this, I'm giving you this.
Yeah, and I say, I'm British politics, say, I'm going to give you this. No, you vote for that and I give you something else. Trump says, I'm going to get rid of all this, I'm going to cut back spending, I'm going to do all these things. And that's what he's doing. So what they put their vote to, maybe later on they're going to regret it.
No, true. At the moment they have to.
At the moment, what, 2 weeks?
And the point is like, it's also about the showing that you're doing something. I feel like most of the time politicians, what they will do, they'll get a high-vis jacket, they'll go to a factory somewhere, they'll do like a little photo shoot, kind of like prop.
Career politicians,
you know, they'll go there and say like, we're like one of you guys, one of the people, and we're gonna go to this factory and show you how, we might be opening a few factories. But when in fact you're not really doing anything, you're just doing it for how it looks, really, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's looks good on their resume, you know.
It does. Yeah. And at the moment, like I said, oh my word, they're running scared of the Reform Party right now. Yeah. It's insane. And I saw there was a last poll that was done last time. They're actually polling higher than the Conservative.
Really?
Yeah, the Reform Party. Right now, as we speak, they're polling higher than the Conservative Party right now, which is scary as well right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I like to say, and I think people say, let's see if we take it in a different direction, see what happens. Yeah, you know something, but I can't sit here and moan one way or the other. Because I can vote, but I don't vote.
Okay.
And I don't vote because I don't trust any of them.
Okay. So what would you? So would you? Okay. Personally, when it comes to voting, I feel like it's everybody has preferences. Personally, for me, I feel like if you vote, it makes you feel like you've done something. I guess,
Yeah.
but I feel like in the grand scheme of things, does it really make a difference? But I feel like it also like if you're gonna wanna have an opinion on these things and say, you know what, this politician is not doing his job properly, you should vote. You know, coming from at least that way you can say, you know what, I gave you my vote, and after I gave you my vote, what did you do with it? Nothing. You know, coming from, which is a bit. I don't understand why.
Yeah,
I guess.
and you know something, we live in a caste society, a class society, the rich and the poor, and how things are now. I'm not saying things won't change, but this is how it's always been. Rich on top, scam, taxing those who don't have. And yeah, you know, check it back hundreds of years. Those who have to pay tax don't get taxed. Those who don't have pay tax.
Nah, true.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're going to do it to say, well, it feels good to do, then go ahead and do that. It makes you feel good. But the system is laid out in such a way, it doesn't matter what you vote, mate.
Nah, true.
It doesn't matter what you vote, because and there's certain things. England used to be a great empire. They're no longer a great empire. So what do? They latch on to whoever that empire is, so they still feel a sense of empire. So whatever America does, they're going to do, regardless of who this, that, and the other. That's what's going to happen.
No, but doesn't seem a bit like for such a country that had a great history and a great empire in the past, for them to just be like a dog's body now, just following whatever America's doing, it's pitiful.
Yeah.
You know, it looks.
If they had another choice, they would take the other choice.
It looks a bit strange. Like come on, like grow some backbone. Like at the moment, obviously, there's a lot of talk right now with Trump trying to resolve, because obviously he feels like he's resolved the Israeli and Gaza situation.
In his mind,
It's
it's
like,
like,
this is done.
Click, it's done.
I'll resolve that.
Yeah.
Just follow
And
along.
everyone's going to scatter along peacefully.
But now with the Ukraine situation as well, it's like, you know what, you know what, Zelensky, take this deal. Putin, me and him had a great conversation. Yeah, we had a great convo. We see things in the same light. You guys have to take some concessions, and we're gonna make we're gonna bring some peace to the region. All the European countries are going crazy, especially in England as well. They're like, no, how on earth can you do this? We might have to bring some troops into Ukraine to be able to stabilize the place. I'm like, wait, you're gonna bring troops into Ukraine? You don't have an army. Like the UK, the British Army is like, when you hear like experts, especially like ex-army, what do you call it? Especially ministers talk about how the army itself has been over the last 10 years they've been cutting it. Because obviously they've been trying to say, you know what, let's
cut everything else.
Because they've been looking at threats like, you know, like cyber warfare and them getting hacked by particular nations or whatever. They thought to themselves, you know, this whole thing of fighting and having a soldier, having an actual army, is not important anymore.
Yeah, well, they find out it is important because they're a great empire. So what do they do?
Oh man!
And where's the big army that we can latch onto? America. So that's why.
But he wants to leave. He wants to leave NATO.
Who?
Trump.
Yeah, he wants to leave NATO.
He's like, no, thank you. I'm not gonna be the guy that you're gonna use every time.
He wants to leave
NATO. To
NATO.
come and use as a fighting force for you guys.
To leave Europe all to themselves.
Like, you fight.
And what did the UK do? Well, we want nothing to do with Europe because we're getting out of Brexit, mate. So we want nothing to do with. So they're kind of in limbo here. So
No, true. When it comes to Britain wanted the UK wanted to leave European Union, but they wanted to stay part of NATO.
Of course.
Which is like, okay, you want to be stay part of NATO, but you don't want to be part of the
I'll have a bit of this and a
trading
bit of
bloc.
that, but not everything.
Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But no. But at the moment, and also like, talk about politics as well. Like, in terms of like the discussion we wanted to talk with you guys today, we're going to talk about how, in terms of parenting and the struggles of parenting, and how even these politicians are supposed to make it a bit more easy in terms of like the education system. What I feel like, what the left or what people say like the liberals are doing to the education system right now at the moment is kind of like, personally for me, I always thought to myself, like, I come from Africa, guys, yeah? Coming here at a certain age, I felt like people that were around the same age as me when I came here were a bit more dominant than I was. In terms of maths, in terms of science, I felt like I was like a year in
Ahead
front
of
of them.
Yeah.
You know where I'm coming from. So at the same time, like when it comes to like at the moment the education system, like we let in. It's like I don't know. It's like they're trying to make things easier and easier for children instead of actually making it. I don't know. Make the whole point of studying and studying and learning is supposed to be a bit more challenging. Supposed to be a bit difficult, supposed to push you a bit to the front. At the moment, most of the things what they're trying to do is teach them about what's happening in society. These things to do with LGBT and all the things, make them feel more inclusive, understand about how they're feeling, their emotions. And you, as a parent, you think to yourself, I'm sending my kids to you guys to teach them maths, English, teach them how to read, teach them certain things that I can't teach them because I'm working. And you guys are not doing that. You're too busy teaching them very silly topics.
You've handed your child over to us. Now we're in control of them. We're going to teach them what we want to teach them. And it's these things that people need to kind of clock onto. So either they get their kids something extra, or they provide something extra, a bit of homeschooling, but the school system that we think is there to educate our kids, to get them ready for their future, that's not what it's there for.
Homeschooling seems to be a growing thing as well.
It makes sense because the schooling system is not there where we thought, I'm going to send my kids to school while I go and work hard, and they're going to educate them, and they're going to be smart, and they're going to get them prepared for their life or for the world.
True.
No.
No, but we're sending our children to them for them to change our kids into something that which we didn't want to have
They're
in the
there
first
to
place.
program our kids into us. I don't have the research to prove this, but this is what I believe. In the schooling system, the really bright people, the really smart ones that's just naturally bright,
they'll go through it regardless of whatever that's happening in class.
And I think they have like special classes or something to help them along the way. But for the vast majority, give them the basics and send them home. Society want to program the kids to get a job, pay your taxes, be a good little boy and a good little girl. That's what they're there for. So if you want more for your kids, you have to do something different. Because the school system, I used to think that way before. Aren't you supposed to do this for my...
No. That's interesting. Because I was thinking like when it comes to when you look at other countries, especially like Asian countries, people like to look at the Chinese model. How when the kids the kids go to school at a certain time in the morning, like we ours do. When they finish school around 3:00, then they have to go to like another program or another after school program that they have to go to go and improve on what they need to do. No, not even improve, but go and learn other skills that they need to learn, right? And after that, they come back home and they go and do some homework, and they highly, vigilant and highly disciplined when it comes to education. To the point that we see that as, you guys are cruel to your kids. You guys don't let your kids be able to have a bit of fun. You just all your kids do is just study. But of course, that's what they're supposed to do. At that age,
they're preparing them in those countries. They're preparing their citizens to be a productive part of their society.
True.
The schools in the West is preparing us to go work in them factories. And them super bright ones, they'll prepare them, but them super bright ones go to eat and all them fancy college because all the people in politics, that's where they're all coming from. That's where they're recruiting them from. They're recruiting from local colleges, So those really bright ones, they're already prepping them.
Let me see the stats on how many kids actually qualify, actually graduate from college with a really good, qualification, like an A-level.
What I'd like to know is those kids that graduate from not a prestigious college and rise to the top. I'm sure they're there, but I bet those numbers are very, very small. Because those prestigious colleges and universities, the kids from there are already prepping for certain roles in society, certain high roles in society. And the rest of society, and they're prepping you for those jobs.
Well, true, but at the same time, even those high qualified jobs in the same thing. Let's say, for example, like the amount of jobs that are there in the first place, for the amount of people that are required for those jobs, there's too many people that are qualifying. For example, I just did like a quick thing search there. When it comes to A stars in A levels, usually the award for students who score between 90 to 100%. The percentage for that is about, in 2004 anyway, no, in 2024, which was last year, 9.3% of students in the United Kingdom came up with an A star.
9.3%.
9.3% of students in the United Kingdom actually qualified with an A star. 9.3.
Less than 10%.
9.3. Like, this is, it's really, and I'm sure that if you go into the numbers, if you go to the weeds of those numbers, you find out that probably like 5% of that would be like minority people that are still born here, they're still British,
Yeah.
but they're from minority backgrounds. You know where I'm coming from.
So
So like,
just because minority background, because they're here wanting to make a better life for themselves, the way the British will study and put their kids through, like you say, they'll think that's cruel. Where from Africa or Jamaica or India or China or somewhere like that, their kids are on it.
no, you have
You come from school and the tutor is there for a couple hours and you're doing piano and you did it. Where I'm not saying English people don't do that, they do that, but because they're already here, they're from here. They're from here. People who come here want, well, I've got to do good here, I've got to make better for myself. So I want better for my children. In order to get better for my children, I want them to be accessible to playing sports, playing instruments, speaking different languages, being more smarter,
Of course.
study more.
No, but I feel like, is that also to do with the class system? Because like a lot of conservative people would make sure their kids are learning and making sure they know what they go for these high profession jobs like doctors, engineering. But obviously, when it comes to like other classes, system, like other areas where they're more impoverished, yeah, the kids are not really. The motivation
Schooling
for
is
them to be able to go on study is not really the same for them.
Yeah.
So at the same time, yeah.
So these people are prepped for certain things, and these people are prepped for
certain
certain
things.
Yeah, and but what? It's a class system. If you're prepped for that, you're prepped for that, and you're prepped for that.
No.
So when our kids go to school, they're not going to be prepping them for up here. They're going to
No.
So we've got to say, if you want to get there,
Yeah.
you've got to
This is
do
what you have
more
to do.
than just.
Exactly. No, 100%. No, 100%.
And if you don't do more than just, then you're
You're gonna be. If
Yeah.
you're happy being that, then
If
you have to be
you're
that.
prepped for that,
No,
you got to do
true,
more.
True. No, 100%. 100%.
You know, so the whole idea, and it goes back to the whole idea of the question is that when we send our kids to school, a lot of parents just send their kids to school and expect school to take up all that responsibility without them doing. Yeah, they're working hard, but for your kids to advance, you've got to make an extra sacrifice and help them out in certain ways. Or if you can do it, hire a tutor or something extra.
True. And guys, give us some feedback as well. Are schools doing a lot more for our children at the moment, or do you think that parents should take more responsibilities into what they actually teach their kids and what you actually do with your children outside of school? And another topic I was going to bring up as well in terms of children as well in general, or raising children. I feel like in general as well, like before you can even have a child, I feel like there should even be like a qualification. You should have like a license before you can have a child. I feel like not everybody should just be rushing there, because it is a highly stressful and demanding job to be able to do.
And nobody tells you anything about it.
Nobody warns you about what's to come. So it's almost like yes, you're gonna get married, you're gonna have children, it will be all fantastic.
Yeah, and like I say, I do remember though hearing my mother saying to and us four about the perils of being a parent and how difficult it is, and she works hard and she's got to do this. How hard it was for not just her, but for any mother, you know.
Of course.
And so she encouraged all of us, don't have kids early. I remember her saying words like that.
Not early.
Yeah, meaning don't go out and having kids at 16, 17, 18 years old. Don't do that. You know, kind of get your life together, have an understanding of what you want to do.
Okay.
You know, if you want to get married or whatever.
You know,
have kids later.
let's put a bullet point on that. And if I finish, but there's something I need to ask you about that, because me and this guy had Lush and this guy NJT or so had a great conversation over the weekend about this. But come on, carry on.
Yeah, but that was it. You know what I mean? So I just kind of think her thing was to have kids later on. Don't have kids. Because when I was in school, and there was like 14-year-olds having kids, 15-year-olds having kids, 16-year-olds having kids.
Exactly.
And I know 2 girls that left school early because they got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? She says, no, don't do that.
No.
Because she says, I ain't raising your kids. Don't do that. You're raising your own kids. So,
but now I feel like that system is even changed. I feel like my generation was the same as well. Like when our parents were telling us, yeah, make sure like obviously school first, make sure you study, make sure you finish your qualifications first, make sure you go to university, you get a good job, and after that maybe you can start thinking, in fact, we'll bring you, we'll bring you.
Don't worry about finding one. We'll find one for you.
Don't worry about that, man. It's fine. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, that was a situation. But I feel like, in terms of just like even engaging in sex as well at that age as well, I feel like now it's pushed a lot more on kids, and also because there's so much.
Everything's so accessible,
and also because there's so much. How could you say this? There's so many. They push a lot of contraceptive, what do you call it, like condoms and stuff to children without even the what do you call it, the parents' knowledge. They think that they can. It's obviously because they want to make sure that the child is protected in some way, and they have the human rights and they have the rights to do whatever they want to do as an individual. Like, man, that's my child. I feel like even me right now, my age, I feel like I still have to ask my dad before I do certain things because he'd be like, "Oi!"
It's a bit too solid to that, and you don't want school to be pushing condoms to your kids, but you don't want your kids to and get pregnant at the same time. But I remember seeing a stat somewhere where
no, but how dare they even think that they can give you a child condom though? That's crazy. Like, that's insane. Like,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, like, what people like sex education and they have to teach as well. It's, I understand they have to teach that, and which is fine. Like, obviously, the kids have to be able to understand certain aspect which is part of life. But at the same time, like to go as far as to be able to tell them, okay, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. Even abortion, sometimes kids can go and have an abortion without their parents being there.
Well, what do we do as parents? We give our kids to the school system, and the school system says we spend more time with them than you do, so we're going to decide for them. So parents have to be conscious of this.
Of course.
You know, we're giving our kids willingly, thinking we're doing something good, and maybe there's a little bit of good in there. You know, they're meeting friends, they're socializing, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But sometimes parents take their kids to school and just forget about it. It was something, okay, yeah, and just get on with the day without kind of, you know.
True.
And like I say, and if you're not from a family that kind of teaches you to be conscious. It's funny, I was having this thought today actually about, and having the thought about teaching your kids that if somebody touch you certain places, that's wrong. And if they do, I want to know. And I was having that conversation. And I think I was at the gym today. With Georgie. And, you know, something just kind of flashed across my mind. I don't know why, but it just did. And the whole idea was, I'm looking at her training. I was a 19-year-old, but I remember when she was like a little tiny little thing like this. And as that thought flashed into my mind, I remember having the conversation with her when she was smaller. If anybody touches you in certain places, I want to know. And don't you be lying to me.
No.
I want to know.
100%.
So
I'm having a conversation right now with my children right now. Actually,
so some fathers and mothers are there to give this to their kids.
100%.
Some mothers and fathers are not there to give this to their kids, and they're not there to give this to their kids. And they go out into the world and get touched in certain ways, and they kind of, is that wrong? I was watching, you know, the Kardashians, and maybe it's not that wrong.
No,
they don't know.
True. No, exactly.
Because they don't have that guidance.
No, of course, they have to rationalise. They're children at the end of the day.
And they're children, and they have access to too many things that they shouldn't have access to. But because of this, they have access to it.
Of course. Even this as well. At what age did you allow your children to have a phone?
Well, and I remember and the girls at certain times being upset with me because when all the newer phones came out, they had like a flip phone still. Okay. And that says, this phone is for phone calls only.
Hello.
And answering.
And goodbye.
You need me, you call. It ain't for no. So I kind of raised the girls to say, don't get caught up in this material world, this materialistic world, and, you know, that little group over there with their little clique and their fancy little things and kind of thing. You know, get to know who you are.
Exactly. True.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, but in order for that to happen, you've got to be around families and parents and friends that can guide you along them lines. And otherwise you kind of, well, to do certain things, I've got to maybe be touched there to fit into that group. When I'll say to my girls, that's not happening, so they wouldn't feel a need because that's what they told me, that no, I shouldn't be trusted to fit in this group. No. So if I've got to be trusted to fit in this group, that group's not for me. No. So my girls will click it, that's the group. Where some who don't have that background will kind of think, oh, maybe I have to do this because I want to be with that group. No. Because when they go home, they don't have that support to kind of really talk to them, really feel, how are you really feeling, and
True.
And if you have that, you have it, and if you don't, you don't. You know,
No, of course.
some kids do and some kids don't.
No, and honestly, like I think my daughter came to me last night and was telling me that one of the other girls in her class said something that I thought to myself was a bit ridiculous. I think they mentioned how they said that they teacher was like their mother, their second mother, and my daughter was like, should I think about it that way as well? I was like, no, never.
Your daughter said that to you.
She asked me like,
should I look at my teacher as my second
no,
mother?
I was like, hell no. Like, how dare you? Like, that's the disrespect to your mum with yourself. Like, how on earth? Does she ever pay for anything for you? Does she pay for any clothes on your back? Does she buy any food for you? Does she bathe you or look after you at any point apart from when you're in school? Yeah. And you think if you were in her class, you think she'll care? Let's just be honest now. Yeah, and she was yeah. That was a bit silly. You shouldn't think about it. Yeah, 100% you shouldn't think about it that way. But at the same time, it's because obviously, like you're right. What you said is 100% right. The parents take the kids, they live in school. I know they're working or whatever life is happening, right? And when that child comes home, they put them in front of the screen, or they have their own phones. So what happens is that now their friends become more part of their life, right? So that little part that you were supposed to also be there and also like teach your child about certain things, certain moral and sort of moral views that you have, and certain principles that you also hold on to. You don't do that. Just let them, I don't know, learn from this. Black mirror.
Like I say, and Cassandra, I think for maybe like the first 4 years, maybe going on 5 years of her life, we had no TV. We had no TV.
When you told me that for the first time, I was shocked.
We had no TV.
I was like, mad.
And usually we had no TV because we're sitting here having conversations, and when Cassandra was little and Georgie was also small, we'd sit around on the floor, we'd roll around and we'd talk and we'd play board games and we'd wrestle and we'd talk about whatever. What's on your mind? What are you feeling? The conversations about don't be allowed anyone to touch you there, and be careful what people say, and let me know if you feel funny, who made you feel funny, explain. These were conversations we had every day.
So you wanted that your children actually feel comfortable to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's very
and as adults right now, and everything they come straight to dad. Dad, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because from the very beginning, instead of sitting around and watching Emmerdale Farm or whatever, I'm not against Emmerdale Farm, mind you, but watching Emmerdale Farm or whatever, and I'm on the floor with the girls, rolling around. And when JT was small, the same with him.
True.
I was rolling around with him, playing around with him, fighting with him. But, you know, you have to have a certain amount of discipline in you. But because of my discipline, I spend time with the kids, I spend time in the gym, I spend time sorting out I spend time with these things because these things are important. They're important to me. These kids are looking up to me. I've got to show them a little something. So I stay fit. I get them involved in fitness. So go on the floor, and when these girls were little babies, I'm teaching them to do push-ups. Teach them to do sit-ups. I'm about 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old.
Do something, you know, coming from
because if you're not going to have a TV, you got to entertain them. So we entertain them with whatever we did, or sometimes it was a quiet one or something. You know what I mean? But you have to do things, but you have to have that kind of energy and vitality to do that. Most parents come home, depending on their job, regardless of their job, really, because even if it's a boring day, you didn't do much, you're tired. Oh, I'm so tired. You don't want to engage with the kids, where I saw that and look at how I was raised, and I was raised in a very engaging type family. Even though the TV was there was lots of conversation, heavy conversation, deep conversations.
True.
Me and my mother, me and my father, me and my sisters, me and my brother. It's like, does it always have to be this heavy? Turn it up a little bit.
But yes,
but that's how I was raised, and I put this into with the 3 kids.
No, that's good. No, that's good.
You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where when you have a village, when you have a community, and you can connect with people in your neighborhood and kind of share information, share knowledge, but because most neighbors probably never know each other. And listen, from Cantley, and they've always been in Cantley, they'll know, but if you move into Cantley or whatever...
No, they won't have a clue.
No, but and I've been living on my share, I don't know, maybe 8 years, and I probably know 3 people at 3 houses, and there's goodness knows how many of them there.
No, but this is what I was asking.
Everybody's so isolated.
I don't want it to sound wrong, guys, but I feel like, is it like a bit of a jealousy then, when it comes to minority communities, when they come here? and they're so intertwined with their kids. They're so in close and they have a good certain relationship. Because for example, I feel like when I go on and what do you call it, hang out with one of my wife friends and they come to my house, they were always like, no, your parents are a certain way. Your parents are certain. You guys are very, very close. Your parents, no. It's almost like they envied what I had. It's almost like, no. I wish I was that close to my dad. I wish I was that close to my mom. You know, coming from. I wish me and my parents would do a lot more things together, but at the same time, there's always like a distance there most of the time. And I think to myself, even when it comes to like children themselves as well, like I don't know. I feel like right now I'm trying to teach my children how to like, not just to look after their own room, but to also go as broad and like, yeah, your own room is your own space. But the house is also part of your house as well. So you also have to understand how to also manage that as well. So like when you wake up in the morning, certain chores that you have to do as well. I feel like, yeah, like, and I'm trying to do that. It's not really going very successfully, but I'm trying. But at the same time, back at home, I was telling my father about this. Back at home, oh my God, kids are so, like my eldest is 9. At 9 years old, a little girl at 9 years old in Congo, she will clean the whole house. She will do breakfast. Yeah, everything else will be ready. She will have a little brothers and sisters she'll be looking after as well on top of that as well. While the mom is going to work, and then they'll come back with knowing that, you know what, yeah, that child is there. She's elder and she will look after. Which doesn't seem right in the UK to be able to leave your child that age to be able to look after everything, but it's just the mentality. They're just raised in a different way.
Yeah, I like to say, and when, I don't want this to sound funny, and when like white people hear that, they make it sound like we black people are a bit cruel. Because the same way it was in Africa, the same way it was in Jamaica. 5, 6, 7 years old, you had chores to do. When I was growing up, I've always had chores.
Of course.
I gave my girls and JT chores. Everybody, you know, those dishes, we're all using it. I remember when them girls was like 4, 5, 6 years old, I'd get 2 little stools, and I'm on there cooking. And I'm giving one a spoon, you stir that, I'm giving the other one, yeah, you do a little bit of chopping there and put a little bit of salt in there. As adults, they can cook. If you don't do that, and you're thinking you're helping them somehow to better themselves in the big world, you're not. Mom will sort that for you, and mom will do that. Oh, dad will do it. There's certain things that mom and dad will do.
True.
But there's certain things that you've got to teach them. So when they're out in the big world, and I'm talking when they're out in the big world, 17, 18, they're adults. If they choose to leave, they can leave. By 18, they should be able to cook themselves a meal, know how to do a bit of laundry, know how to iron a shirt, some basic
things.
It's just like basic military things. You're going to learn everybody should know this. Boys and girls.
Of course.
And in our family, boys and girls knew this. In a lot of families, yeah, I like to say, and boys may know certain things, but girls will do the cleaning and girls will do the cooking and sometimes the boys don't do anything. Boys can get away with doing nothing, but the girls have to get down there and do a bit of scrubbing and do a bit of this.
No, of course.
In Caribbean community, everybody's partaking, not just girls. No. Everybody, boys, girls, everybody taking part.
To be honest, like I don't know, and that's not the topic we're going to do for next time. No, because there was the other conversation we had last week, and it was about between men and women. Are they equal? Are we equal or are we different?
Yeah, that's way different.
That's topic. No, because what you said earlier about what do you call it, the boys not being forced into too much cleaning and cooking. I feel like in my community, in the African community, that's normal a little bit. Yeah. They will tell you to go and do more outside work. So the boys will be outside, so you have to learn how to either do a bit of farming or a bit of gardening, coming from, and learn how to raise certain cattle a little bit, but at the same time, cooking and cleaning, they'll be like,
yeah, you'll find...
Because they expect them to get married eventually. And like,
you'll find most Jamaican men, not all, but most Jamaican men can cook.
Oh.
Most Jamaican men can cook.
See.
All my brothers can cook. Not one of my brothers can't cook. All of them can cook. I could cook. It's just a Caribbean...
Bring me lessons, guys. I can't cook to save my life.
So Jamaica, what the girls do, the boys do.
Okay.
There's some heavy things that the boys will do, but generally speaking,
we've
got to prepare the girls for the world, we've got to prepare the boys for the world. And a part of that, if you're a boy, you're by yourself, Where you going to eat?
No, that's true.
Where you going to eat?
That's true.
What, are you going to wait
So
to
hard,
find a
yeah,
woman to wash your clothes and find a woman to get...
Nah.
Nah. Boy, learn. Get the broom. Get the mop.
Nah, true.
And like I say, and us Caribbean folk, particularly speaking from a Jamaican background,
Yeah.
yeah,
See.
Jamaican men can cook because it's just part of. You got to learn.
That's something we might have to adopt.
You got to learn to take care of yourself.
Nah, that's something we might have to adopt. Guys, start teaching your kids, your boys how to make food as well. How to, and that's the thing as well. Like I feel like maybe that was just me, maybe on my part, because I had 8 sisters. So for me, like.
They spoiled you.
They spoiled me. They spoiled me too much. It was like, mate, before I even trying to come in the kitchen, it's like, it's all done, man. Just eat some food and just go. But at the same time, it's like, for other families, it's different. Like, I know, like one of my friends as well. Like, they're just 3 boys, and like, there's no girls there, so you guys have to learn how to cook. So like, all of them know how to cook. So like, you had no choice in the matter. But no, that's
It's just a certain basic skill like that. Everybody should know it, mate.
No, 100%. And that's what I'm trying to instill into them as well. And guys, tell us as well, are you guys teaching your kids how to cook as well?
Or can you cook?
Can you even cook as well? Yeah. And if you can't cook, tell us why you can't cook as well. It'd be nice to be able to know. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And the other topic I wanted to speak to you about as well. But before we end this topic as well, in terms of children in general as well, the other part I wanted to talk to you about is about just like safety in general, like certain communities. Like I feel like you said about the community that we're in right now, it's very quiet. You know, if you go to like down south, or if you go maybe Manchester, where I just came from last weekend, there's a bit more of a community feel there. But at the same time, I feel like certain communities as well, like certain parents at least, they're a bit more anxious now, obviously, because how on earth are you supposed to feel letting your child go and play out with his friends? Well, the community that they're in as well is not quite safe. You hear like people are getting shot, people are getting stabbed. Even kids also getting into like bad groups as well with other kids where they go and start stealing things as well, and they're all getting into fights at school as well. I don't know.
And you know something? The thing that I've observed about that, if most kids, unfortunately, wasn't obsessed with their phones, obsessed with whatever video game they play or whatever if they wasn't obsessed with it, they would be outside and there'd be a lot more gangs and a lot more violence. But the vast majority of kids are, the product nowadays are housebound.
Yeah.
Most of them are housebound. And the ones that are not housebound are out there, do whatever they're doing. But most kids nowadays are stuck in their room on this.
Oh yeah, on that.
Or on this. Stuck in their room. That's and you know something, and as sad as that is, you don't really want most of those kids with all of that energy and all that testosterone out on the streets. You know, now what we're going to do? Oh, for some reason this has been taken away. This has been taken away. Where we are at now, they're best where they are, really.
Really?
Yeah. They're best where they are until they can find some things outside of the house to get them in youth centre, something like that. Until you can find something to keep them active. Either they stay in house and do whatever they do, or they go out there and get involved in gangs and stuff, or as a community you have somewhere else for them to kind of go, somewhere else for them to do, somewhere else for them to kind of gather. And if you don't have that, they'll go from the house out to the street if there's nothing in between.
Yeah, true. And obviously when it comes to the street itself, I feel like when it comes to like I was said earlier about the big cities as well, like there's a lot of poverty in those big cities. Most of the time when those kids are out there, it's because at home it's not as easy to be able to live at home, right? And
if they do have a home,
that's the thing as well. So at the same time as well, and there's a growing numbers as well, kids that go into foster care as well. Like that's something that's not really talked about as much.
Not very often.
But it's a weird thing. Just kids like don't want to live with their parents anymore, regardless of whatever's happening. Most of the time as well, it could be abuse as well. But at the same time, they would just run and go and live by themselves or be homeless as well, which is it's insane to think about that. Like in maybe the United Kingdom,
I saw something.
One of the richest countries in the world,
where they're saying about how much council houses was being built in like the 80s and 90s to how much council houses are being built now. The councils are not building any houses.
Oh, no.
And like say, and when I was 16, 17 years old, and I can sign up for a flat, and within a month get a flat.
Sure.
6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, I get a flat. Maybe the best neighborhood, but
You get a place.
now that can't happen because there is no real council housing.
No, you have to wait.
Yeah, and that's it. If you put them in a council list, man, it's like 5 years, 6 years, who knows, endless amount of years. Yeah, and like say, so councils not building houses like they used to build houses in like the 80s and 90s. And because they're not building houses, either people stay in environments that they don't really want to, and they run out into other environments that could be a bit sketchy at times.
Sure.
But it's not like you can go and get a council house. That time is.
Yeah,
is
no,
changeable.
but I feel like but keeping kids indoors as well a bit more. I feel like that could already, like you said earlier about social media and even video games as well. Like some of the mental health issues that's been arising because of the kids are going onto social media, seeing a world that's not really even real, right? An amplified world of fakery basically, and it's fake. It's all fake.
It's all fake.
It's all fake, and they're making it seem as if.
And they put all that filter on and say, "Wow, you look great today." It's a filter. It's
True,
you
but
did-
even the people that they watch it, like even like for example, like we said earlier about the Kardashians,
all
it's
of it.
all fake.
All of it.
It's
All
all
of it.
fake. People
All of it.
are putting on a show to be able to make it seem like this is how they live every day, but that's not really the case. But at the same time, it's like kids are seeing it that way, having a weird delusion of what life could be as well, and it just puts like, and also the amount of kids out that also if I let me check the stats actually. It's a bit more.
Yes, I just think young people nowadays just don't have much to do and much places to go, so they stuck indoors, mate. It's not, and either you send them out there and you know, there's not much for them to do. There's not much place for them to kind of gather and little discos or little whatever. There's not many of that, and on a national level. So most of them are in this day and age stuck indoors. And if they go and climb trees, oh wow, you're climbing it. Yeah, climb the tree, fall off the tree. This is part of learning. And no, you can't do all that nowadays.
No, true. I'm trying to look for a stat for last year, and wow, okay. According to the data of the Office of National Statistics, analysis of young minds, suicide rate amongst young people aged between 15 and 19 in the UK, in England, sorry, not in the UK by the way, rose by 35%.
35%. Between 15 and 19?
15 and 19. From 2020 to 2021, in 2020 was 147 young people aged between 15 and 19 in England who took their own lives, and it rose to 198 in 2021. That's mad. That's and it's, in Africa, when kids die, it's because of famine, war, or an accident, you can say. You know where I'm coming from? Not because they're taking their own lives.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I'm sure even in Jamaica, does that happen? The kids just take their own lives?
I'm sure you hear it occasionally if there's other things going on. But generally speaking,
it's not something that's a big thing. That's crazy. 198 people in 1 year, 98 children in 1 year. That's insane.
Yeah, and like I say, and we just don't have enough to keep young people's mind engaged. So these things take over. The gaming take over, and those industries recognize that, and they're pumping out stuff like never before, and it's just consuming and the young people, and they're living in a completely different world sometimes, especially when they're spending 15 hours a day playing video games and getting into that. It's just a different time. But you know, it's just one of them things where we are at this time in existence is just where we are, and how young people are, and how they go to school, and how they talk to their parents, and how they talk to the elderly. It's just like it's a different time. It's a complete different time.
Oh, true.
You know, and
but more has to be done about it. Like, you expect parents to be able to take more responsibility in the situation, to be able to because I feel like what you said earlier, I feel it's so great as well. I feel like every parent should be able to be, if you can do more with your children without having to be able to rely on other distractions, right? it's the best thing you can probably do.
Best thing possible to do.
End of the day, because end of the day, like I don't know, you're also helping them to also be able to rely on other things instead of having to rely on something to be able to keep them distracted. They can find their own way of playing or keeping themselves going, I guess. But yeah,
I like to say, and for all of you young parents out there, what is a great thing to do with kids? Is like get a tent and put up a tent in the back garden and camp out in the back garden one night.
see,
So,
you heard it.
camp out in the back garden, but doing things to kind of young people have all this energy.
They do.
And instead of using this energy, they're sat down with this energy. And it builds and builds and builds. And when there's other things going on, anything could explode.
No.
Any emotion can explode.
No, true.
That energy is not going anywhere. It's not doing anything.
True.
The amount of PE, physical ed, that we used to have in school, now they're doing, oh, teacher. I mean, we were doing as if we were going for the Olympics or some shit.
No, true. They're trying to make everybody else the Olympians away.
You know, but nowadays it's a bit different. So kids don't exert all that energy, and it stays inside. And at some point, it's going to blow. And I like to say, and a bit of anxiety might kick it off, a bit of depression might kick it off, a bit of losing a girlfriend or a boyfriend might, anything could kick it off. Problems at home might kick it off. Anything could kick it off.
True.
They have to have things to do to burn up some of that energy, and when they don't, it creates a problem.
True.
Creates a problem.
And I understand as well for most parents out there as well. I understand as well how hard it could be as well. Apart from just the financial aspect of it, to be able to do things more with your kids as well, because obviously even to do certain things, it costs money as well. And two as well, the weather doesn't help. I'm sorry. If you had a bit better weather,
push the settee aside,
would be good.
Get on the floor and wrestle with the children and tickle with the children and make them laugh and be silly and.
True.
The weather's good outside. Turn central heating on. It's warm inside. Turn the TV off. You know what I mean?
True.
Do a little this, do a little that.
100.
You know what I'm saying? But it's mom's tired and dad's tired and mom needs to go to the gym and dad needs to go to the gym. Oh, I'm too tired to do it and dad's getting bigger and mom's getting. No, you gotta.
No, true.
For everybody needs a bit.
No, of course. Everybody benefits are
that's what I'm saying. Everybody benefits from it.
From it as well, guys. Everybody's gonna benefit from it.
You know, so it's
definitely. Play more with your kids, interact more with your kids, talk more to your kids, and hopefully they'll talk to you guys back as well, and they'll tell you exactly what's going on in their lives, and tell you what they need and what they don't need, and also I feel like also something else as well. I feel like parents, I won't say most parents neglect this, but I feel like the majority of parents kind of neglect this as well, in terms of giving their kids a bit of sense of how can I say this? I don't want to say religion, but in a sense like faith. Teach them what basically like understanding. Know well, okay. How can I say this without having to be too preachy? Yeah, a sense of discipline. Like, can we just call it that, discipline?
Yeah,
a sense of morality and discipline, because I feel like when it comes to like you shouldn't have to let the school system teach your kids morality, or their friends teach them what's moral to do or what's immoral to do as well.
And that's in the house.
That's in the house, exactly. So they say if you have to pray with your children more.
And like I said, but in order for that to be in the house, the energies of the parents have to be that quality to give that in the house.
Exactly.
And if they're not of that quality, they can't. So that's what I'm saying. It's not something that you can say where all children will get access to it.
No.
You know, their mom and dads are drunk and they're drug addict and they're not going to get those type things. No. For those parents who can give that, just you teach kids to know what's right and wrong. What you want for yourself, you want for others too. If it leads into religion, your kids have to be an individual, but sometimes with parents, because my sperm creates something in the woman, and the woman carry for 9 months, and the baby come out. It's my property. No, they're your property. They're your property. You teach your kids morality. You teach them values. You teach them what's right or wrong. You teach them to feel a connection, and if they feel that connection, my mother never forced a religion on us. She's a Christian, but she never. She said, if you guys feel that energy, I don't need to force you. And you've got to come to church. That's not going to. But most people,
You have to.
You have to.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays.
Make sure you teach your kids
7 days a week.
right, some basic, what's right and wrong, what's good and bad and all. What you want for you want for other people, and other human beings.
Of course. No, of course.
And that in itself is spiritual without being religious.
Not 100%.
You're looking out for you, you're looking out for other human beings. You live in the community, you live in the village. We all want the same thing. These are some basic things you give their kids. And along the way, they will pick up and they will learn and they will get involved in religion if they want to, without saying, you have to do what. I ain't them kind of parenting, mate. I ain't them kind of parenting.
No, but I feel like, yeah, but
You know, I find hypocritical though about some parents.
Go on.
I find hypocritical about some parents.
Go on.
How, when they're young, they do what they want to do. Out with the girls, smoking them weed, partying, doing all these things. But now that they're parents, and they've reached a level in their life where they've found religion.
Yes.
That, well, you've got to follow my lead. What were you doing when you were their age? Sometimes parents forget that.
No, that's true.
And they become very preachy about, oh, I'm almighty now.
That's true.
But when you were 17,
their argument will be like, no, I'm trying to look after you. I'm trying to look after.
But somehow
I know
you
more
went
than what
through
you
that. You went through that, and you turned out okay. It shows that you don't have faith in me. Because you went through that experience. Well, that experience, every experience in life at every stage is different. But you went through a stage in your life when your parents would say, wow, this is so different than my stage. But to you were going through your stage and you ended up okay. Because your parents was giving you certain values and you reached a certain point where you learned about girls and you learned about this and you kind of realized, yeah, that's enough of that. I'm going to become this. Mr. Preacher Man, who have kids now, who preach to his kids without saying, let me share with you, as a father, the kind of person I was. But most people are so ashamed of it, they hide it.
They hide it from the kids.
They hide it. I don't want the kids to know what I was doing.
No.
So automatically,
I'm an angel.
Automatically, you're telling your kids lie because there's certain information like, well, Dad, tell me, what were you doing? So you have to either tell a lie or come up with some. Be honest with your kids. Most people can't do this.
But you're not really doing yourself any favor.
You're not doing yourself any favor.
Once they finally find out, once they find out exactly what you were like before,
you're not doing them a favor.
Then
if you want them to be honest with you,
even further.
You be honest with them. And as opposed to say, well, they're only a child, what do they know? They know a lot.
No, dude.
They know a lot.
And that's the thing about
you treat them with respect. As a 10-year-old, you want... When you're a 10-year-old, you don't get respect till you're 21 and 2 months. No, man. You give them... Because this is a part of the learning curve along the way. Not when you reach a certain age. No. You know how some parents will say... Kids will say, fuck off, Mom. Oh, that sounds so cute. He's only 3 or 4.
No.
But if you don't nip this in the bud now...
Oh.
Well, by the time he's 12, you're going to try and nip it in the bud there. It's too late, love.
Nah, he'll be saying worse things to you then.
He'll be saying worse things to you. So my point is, even with respect with everything, you start practicing that and teaching that from the very beginning. So they grow up with this in their DNA. So they understand it. But most people, no, let them this, let them that. They're only kids, they don't know. Listen to the kids, pay attention. You'd be amazed what they can teach. It's like, oh, I've never thought of it like that before. Because a different mindset that's looking at it differently. It's like, oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't quite think about that. And I got that from JT, I got it from Cassandra, I got it from Georgina. When they were 9, 10, 11, 12, they'd say things, I was like, oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. And when they said things, that kind of makes sense. I would make it a point to let them know what they just said. It made a lot of sense, and this is why it made a lot of sense. So it made them even think more, because they just say words without knowing what it really means. And I'm like, that makes sense, and this is why it makes sense, and this is how it's good. So along the way, they're saying things. I'm giving them positive reinforcement about what they've said. Wow, that was really good. At the same time, educating them of how this is connected, why it really makes sense.
No, of course. And that's the thing as well. Like, children are very, very smart.
Very, very smart.
Especially even at a young age as well. Like between maybe between 4 to maybe like 10. They're very observant as well. Like,
man.
you think that they're not paying attention. You
Yeah.
think they're not watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
You think, you know what, you're hiding certain things
Yeah.
from the kids.
Yeah.
When in fact they're watching exactly what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
They're seeing exactly all the bad behavior you think you're trying to hide from
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And once you do certain things as well, once you slip up in some way, they'll be the first people to remind you of it as well. Seriously. And never make a promise to a child that you feel like you don't want to keep. As parents,
They
parents,
remember it, mate.
you know this. You never make a promise to a child and think, you know what, they're going to forget it. They're always going to
never
remember.
forget. Especially if it's something that really matters to them.
Oh my word! It's to you at that time when you make the promise, you don't really think it's important. You think
it's important.
You feel like, yeah, of course I'm gonna do that. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You gone, you think to yourself like, nah, they're gonna forget about it the next day. No. They literally tattooed that into their brain.
Yeah.
That's not getting out. They what do the brain that
Kids are super smart, mate. You just got to tune into it and kind of come down a little bit to tune into what they're saying and learn and teach.
No, 100.
And like say,
And they can teach you as well. Your kids can teach you a lot. Oh my word.
very much so, mate. Very much so.
Some of the things my little girls come up to me, she's into science right now. And some of the things she comes and says, she finds like a new species every day that she wants to come and teach me about. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but parenting is hard, mate. And all of these things, and that we talk about it. But when you put all these things into practice, it's hard work. It's time consuming. It's thought provoking. It's all of these things. But that's a part of the joy of these things.
yeah, exactly. But okay, I'm gonna cut this part. But can you just go at the back there and just press that white button for me as well? Just take another picture.
Just press the white one.
Just the white button there. The one in the background. And then we take a picture while the video is still running. And well, thanks for watching, the guys. This was another great episode of The Young Fathers. And but welcome, guys. I'm gonna do another one again. And today we're gonna talk to you guys about this crazy story. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this crazy story about this. What are they calling it? YR4 2024. The meteorite is coming towards Earth, guys. They're telling us like literally like it's like the movie Don't Look Up. It's crazy right now, but at the same time we're gonna have a great conversation about that, trying to see if we can discuss it, look at some of the information that's been put out there on the news. Apparently in April we'll probably know a bit more about what's going on with this comet, but in the same time in 2028, in April we're gonna know a bit more because you have the Hubble telescope that's gonna have a look at it to see exactly what's going on with this particular comet. It's basically moving around our solar system. And but in 2028 we're gonna know more definitively if he's actually gonna strike us or if he's just gonna go past us. So I don't know. What did you think of that story, by the way?
Yeah, and like I say, one of the first things, and I thought about, it said like a 1% chance of hitting, and I thought, I wonder what a 1% of Earth actually looks like. So 1% doesn't sound like much, but if 1% is a whole country, that's a lot.
No, 1% possibility of hitting us.
Yeah, 1% possibility, but I thought if it did hit Earth,
just
and it
1%.
hit Earth at 1% of Earth.
Oh, that could be a lot. Depending on where it is, that 1% could be a lot. Could be damaging.
Yeah, and but I said that was like 2035, something like that.
Yes.
So it's
it would be 2032.
2032.
That's when they're expecting it.
But by 2028, they'll have a better idea of.
By 2028, we're gonna know exactly if it's gonna hit us or not.
Yeah.
At the moment, what happened is like, by the way, TikTok went crazy as well when the story came out.
Yeah.
Because the conspiracy theory on this story. No, and by the way, I feel like some of the people that are actually telling the story on the mainstream news are not helping people. On the 25th of December last year, that's when they found out. That's when they saw it. They saw it on the 25th of December, and in 2032 it will come on the 22nd of December.
Yeah.
That's 3 days before Christmas. That's like the whole crux where the sun stops for 3 nights and doesn't go anywhere, and on the third night it goes up by a little. I was like, well, come on, this is a bit silly. What are you doing? What are you doing to us right now? It's not funny.
Yeah,
but
like conspiracy theories there. There's a lot of them out there coming up with all kind of stuff.
no, but
Yeah.
in Christmas there was only a 1% possibility
Yeah.
that it was gonna hit us. But at the end of last week, for the end of last week, on Friday or Thursday, they announced that no, the possibility is rising to 5%.
Wow.
Because what seems to be happening, because obviously like things in space are constantly moving.
Mm.
Anything can happen. Like you can calculate thinking, okay, this thing is going to move around this particular direction, but there's a lot of gravitational pull that's pulling all of these things as well, left, right, and center. A lot of radiation that's moving around. If this thing moves slightly a little bit, that possibility grows again and grows again. So but they're hoping that Hubble telescope, the one in England, one of the best ones in the world, is gonna have a look at it in April. They're gonna be able to see exactly like the diameter, because at the moment they feel like it looks like the size of a mountain. Size of a mountain. And have you seen the corridor, by the way, that they've mentioned? They've put this corridor line, like, okay, this is the possible places they could hit.
Yeah.
Depending on what time of the day as well. So if it happens to come through in the morning, it could be South America.
Yeah.
If it happens in midday, it could be the Central Africa.
Yeah.
If it's somewhere evening, it could be in Asia. So there's like a weird corridor where this is the potential places where you can hit. So like when it comes to England, it's not gonna happen. No, it's not gonna hit here. But at the same time, like even if it doesn't hit, how will it look like on that day, seeing that massive thing just going?
Size of a mountain, eh?
Everybody would see something like that.
Yeah, and like I said, I would imagine if it's that big, at some point, depending on where you are, it might even block the sun.
Exactly.
Depending on
people, my wife is Muslim and I'm Muslim as well. So at the same time, like, people are already going panicking, saying, "Oh, in the Quran, there's a prophecy about the sun coming from the other side of the earth." So that if this thing, how they reported it, is going to come from the other side, right? So you're going to have this thing, that's because obviously in space everything reflects light, and this is how we were able to see it on the 25th of December, because they were looking at it and it was reflecting so much light, So on the 25th of December, on the 22nd of December, you're gonna have this massive shiny thing coming from the other side, and everybody losing their mind is like, the sun is coming from the other side, the world is coming to an end.
I said, people are panicking now when it's got 7 years to go.
7 years.
People are already panicking.
No, but that's the thing, and I feel like it was all like, and this I saw this other conspiracy people were saying that, oh no, this is just there to be able to ruin Trump's term. Like they did with the pandemic, they're gonna mess up his term again. Because now what they're gonna be talking about, all they're gonna be talking about will be this.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen, and I feel like it's quite interesting because at the end of the day, and also like apart from before going to that as well, what they're already talking about on the news right now is like, oh no. Even if it does happen to be coming towards us, unlike the dinosaurs, we know what to do. We've tried this before. In 2021, they sent a probe towards a small comet. Yeah. Amongst, I think there's like a belt where you have all of these various rocks flying around, and basically they sent one of these probes towards one of these comets to be able to see if they can slightly move it a little bit, and also explode it as well. It was successful. They did it in 2021. They sent it through. In 2022, the information came back say, it was successful. Okay. Great. That's one of the tools that we have.
That they could use.
I know for a fact. On the day when we need to use that for real for us, if it's an actual life or death situation.
And the billionaires will be a mile from this.
Let it hit. Not be that far. I feel like they'll be so confident. They'll be like, yes, we know what to do. We're gonna throw this rock at this other rock over there. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna mess and then they'll throw it, and it's just you know like one of those situations where you wanted to hit so much that you're gonna end up missing so terribly that you're not gonna come anywhere close to that thing at all.
Really does be in outer space, mate.
But yeah, no, what you call it? But what you call it?
Bobby.
Huh?
And the missus is waiting for me.
Oh, is she now?
Yeah, be sure to cut this bit out.
And but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because I feel like yeah, people are panicking about it so much right now. But at the same time, yeah, we've got 7 years. We know more in 2028. In 3 years' time, we'll know a bit more.
Yeah, and I say there's more pressing things to panic about than 7 years from now. It's like, let's focus on the next 4 years.
That's
We've
true.
been doing them last 3
that's
later.
That's true. But guys, let us know what you guys thought about that story as well. Let us know if you guys seen that story. Are you worried about the comment that's coming through? Are you thinking it's just like another thing that you're trying to scare us? But also the other thing people were talking about was saying as well, it could be a situation like we talked about technology last time, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
They could be mining this comet.
Wouldn't surprise me. They're trying to mine everything, aren't they?
They're probably trying to find a way to mine it with Tesla and all these Elon Musk
They're
guys.
trying to mine everything.
They'll find a way. But guys, thanks for watching and like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.